So here's a short video to help with freeing up the neck and allowing the rib cage to have more freedom to move back and forth, and then also allowing the top of shoulders to release, the neck area, and a little bit of lower back. So we'll get started with cat-cow. So knees under hips, wrists under shoulders, and allowing yourself to round the back fully. Spread shoulder blades, feel your low back stretching open. And then inhaling as you allow the rib cage to lower, and maybe lifting the head a little bit and noticing how your low back likes that, or how the neck feels in that position. If it feels too intense, just keep it more neutral. Otherwise, you can go a little bit higher into cow, and then rounding your back into cat. Inhaling forward and through either tabletop or cow. And rounding your back, and as you round your back, feel that neck area let go, low back area let go. Spread shoulder blades. And inhaling forward and through into cow. Take your time going back and forth. Now, if you need to keep it neutral, instead of going into cow, you stop right there, and then you come right back into your cat. And then coming into tabletop, and then going right back into cat. So if it feels like low back and neck are sensitive, instead of going all the way here, you stop at tabletop, and then exhaling, rounding your back. Take a few more of cat-cow or cat and tabletop. Inhaling as you allow front body to open. Exhaling as you allow back body to stretch. And the next time that you exhale, rounding your back, hang on there. You can walk your hands a little wider if you'd like, and then allow the head to just hang, and turn your head just slightly side to side, allowing a feeling sense of loosening up around the neck area. So notice those sides of neck, the back of neck, feeling like you're letting go as you keep the head super heavy. Try not to force anything. And 3. Belly's engaged. And 2. And 1. Then slowly just going back into a child's pose. And allowing the arms to walk as far forward as they'll go. And then softening at the elbows and release the head. Take a few breaths there. And then slowly coming back to all fours. And now the next movement is going to be like a side bend. So spread fingers, wrists under shoulders. Turn and look to the right, past your right shoulder, and look to your right pinky toe. Inhale, come through center, and exhale, look the other way, and looking to the left pinky toe. Inhaling, coming through center, and exhale, looking back. And just noticing, how does it feel in the side body? How does it feel in the neck as you're moving back and forth? You should feel a stretch all the way from your outer hip, side waist, rib cage, and the neck. Moving slowly enough that you feel when you're approaching your edge. You don't want to overdo the stretch. You don't want to feel like your ribs are knitting on the side that's bending. You want just a little bit of a squeeze in the belly that allows you to find that side bend. If you can look past the pinky toe to your opposite foot, you can go a little deeper, but still watching to make sure you're not overdoing it on the side that you're shortening. And take 2 more. then the next time you look to center, you can allow yourself to release back into your child's pose. Walk your arms a little forward, soften at the elbows, and then relax, head down. Take a few breaths there, noticing how does the neck feel? How do the shoulders feel? How's your low back? Good, then slowly coming back to all fours. And then now we're gonna go into a seated position to allow a little more mobility in the rib cage. So allowing yourself to come to seated, and you're going to take cow face pose. You're going to take one arm to go over the back and the other arm to go back. Now, if you feel like I can't quite hold hands, you can always use a strap. So something like that, or a towel, or a bathrobe belt, right? So the top arm goes over your head and down, and then the other arm goes onto your back body. So my back of hand is going to back body, and then climb it up as high as you can, so that if you were trying to hold fingers, you might be starting to touch the fingertips with each other, or if it feels far away, don't worry about it. Just hold on to your strap, and then maybe walking that bottom hand up a little on the strap. And notice, how does that feel? So it may be intense. If it feels intense, and this, right now I'm sitting cross-legged, but you can always be standing, or you can be on your knees, depending on how comfortable you are, like kneeling, right? You can also be standing. And if you're standing, just make sure your low back is not feeling strain. If your low back feels strained, bend the knees a little bit, and that will take the pressure off the low back. In the seated position, usually the hips are the ones that talk to you. So just depending on how the body feels in that position, right? So the top of the shoulder on the bottom is feeling a stretch, and the front of shoulder. The other arm is tricep, right? That's feeling a stretch. Once you stay here for about 10 breaths, then you can shift over to the other side, right? So just noticing, once you're in it, does your neck feel like it's crunching up, like right with the next to the upper arm? Try not to tense up the neck. And then from there to come out, top arm goes up, top arm goes sideways, and then slowly down. Other arm, you're going to shift forward to allow the arm to slowly release down. The reason I'm shifting forward is I don't want to tense up that shoulder as I bring it out. So once you shift as far as you can, that arm just kind of naturally falls down. And then once you have it down, then you can slowly shift it up and out, and then releasing. So what this is good for is it allows the rib cage a little more mobility, and your back body to go into its right position in terms of the spine and all. So we're gonna go to the other side. So if you have a strap or towel, you can put it on the other side. And then same arm that has the strap goes up and then down. Other arm goes out, back of hand goes behind the back, and then you climb it up the back. And then once you hold your strap, you can inch that bottom arm a little higher toward the other hand. And then once you're there again, nice tall spine. This tricep is feeling a stretch. Top of shoulder and chest area feeling a stretch. Breathe. You want to feel like your ribs, as you inhale, they push out. As you exhale, they soften back in. Inhale, pushing out. Exhale, softening back in. taking your time, finding that nice, long, smooth, deep breath. And then you can stay on the second side, anywhere from 5 to 10 breaths, whatever feels like a good balance for you. I like to go to about 10 breaths to actually feel like something's happening in the arms. But if you feel at 5 that you're already feeling like super intensity in the stretch, then maybe start at 5 and then gradually work your way up to 10. So this is cow face pose. And tops of shoulders, you're trying to keep them down. Neck area, you're trying not to strain. So you want to always check in, like if I move my head, am I feeling like I'm straining my neck area? Can I loosen it up, right? And top elbow is pointing up, bottom elbow is pointing down. If your shoulders are tight, you'll probably find that this top elbow wants to go out sideways. The other arm, the elbow wants to point also sideways instead of coming straight down. No worries if you start there, but eventually you want to make your way toward pointing up with the top elbow, pointing down with the bottom elbow. So from here, we're going to slowly release that top arm, reaching it up to the sky, and then slowly out to the side, and then down. And then the other arm, slowly shift forward first, and then allow the arm to kind of slowly drop on its own. You're not trying to strain that shoulder as you come out. And then slowly, once you come out, then you can slowly float it out to the side and then back in. So that was cow face pose. And then we're going into eagle arms. And eagle arms allows more spread between your shoulder blades, and also this top of shoulder area. It allows it to release down away from the ears more. So we're gonna, if you are in a seated position and you want to switch the cross of legs, you can do that. If you are standing, don't worry about that. If you're on your knees, I'm gonna show the knee position. So if you're on your knees, you'd be like in that position and then going into eagle. Okay, so if you were cross-legged, just switch the cross of your legs, right? So opposite leg goes forward, and then eagle arms, what happens is you take one elbow on top of the other. So elbow on top of the other. And then once you bring your elbow on top, this hand that's on the bottom goes upright. The other arm comes around that arm, and it's like you were clapping hands, right? So you make your way to that position. If this doesn't quite make it into clapping position, you can just use your bottom arm to pull on the other elbow and then just leave that hand hanging out to the side, okay? And then from there, lift the rib cage and lift the arms, and then drop your shoulders down, which is going to allow a feeling sense of stretch between your two shoulder blades. And then allow a nice, long, smooth, deep breath there. You can start again. You can start by counting the breath to about 5. You can go up to 10. And keep watching the top of shoulders, making sure they stay down away from the ears. So you're lengthening the space between the ear and shoulder. You'll feel more stretch in the top arm's shoulder blade. So notice, is that what you're noticing as you stay in this position? So that should be about 5 breaths. If you wanted to go longer, you could, but just so I don't record too long a video, I'm going to stop here and we're going to switch sides. Top arm slides over the bottom arm, and then reach it out to the sides with arms, and then you're going to go opposite direction, other arm crossing over. And once the other arm crosses over again, if you can, clap hands. If not, that hand just kind of hangs out to the side, but you're using that bottom arm to kind of hook the top arm and stretch it out that way. Lift the rib cage, lift the arms, and then drop your shoulder blades down the back, which naturally drops your elbows as well. And then hang out there and breathe. You're breathing into that space between the two shoulder blades. Good, that's about 5 breaths, and then releasing, and allow those arms to go out to the sides, and then down. Good. Okay, so that is 4 poses. We're going to do one last one to stretch out low back. So, especially if you had been sitting like this, maybe a good idea to transition to your back body. So lying on your back, knees bent, take your strap into the left foot, and then allow that left foot to lengthen out. So just that should allow back of leg to stretch, and then also your low back area to stretch. And then from there, you can, if you'd like, if you're holding a strap, you can wrap it around your hand. If you have a towel, you can just be holding the towel, and then push through your heel, and then slowly just bring your leg across the way, just slightly, not too far out. Notice my seat is still on the ground, so I'm not turning my hips over. I'm just keeping everything flat on the floor on my back body, and just the leg is moving in the hip socket. And hang out there and breathe. So there you can stay 5 breaths, noticing how that low back is responding. You should feel a stretch throughout the side of the leg as you're holding that strap and breathing. And then when you're done with your 5 to 10 breaths, you come back to center, soften the knee, and then you can release the leg out of there. Keep that knee bent, and then take your other leg into the strap. And once you're there again, nice strong hold with the arm, and then you can wrap it around the left hand and slowly bringing that leg across the way. And it doesn't have to go very far. Your hips should still feel stable and grounded. You're not trying to lift that hip that has the leg in the strap. You're not trying to lift it up off the floor. So keep both hips firmly planted, low back feeling flat on the ground, belly is engaged. My belly I'm actually pulling down a bit, and then allowing the side of the leg to feel a stretch, but also the low back and the seat are feeling a stretch in that position. Arm that's holding is not very stiffened, so relax the shoulder, relax. Here the bicep is a little engaged because I'm pulling with my arm, but the shoulder itself should be completely softened. And 2 more breaths there. And you can always stay longer, but I'm just giving you a little bit of a taste of what you need to do. And then from there, coming back to center and softening the knee, and then releasing your strap. And I will call that a day for today. You can also bring knees into your chest, rocking gently side to side to finish the whole thing. Soft shoulders, soft belly, soft hips, allowing yourself to just rock back and forth, massaging your back body. This should feel good everywhere in general. No tension, no tightness. And then when you feel ready, rolling off to the side, and then using your hands to kind of push into the floor and slowly making your way up to seated. And thank you. That's all for today.